When choosing new items of tackle to put into your fishing, having trust in that product is probably one of the key parts, one of the most important decisions you're going to make. The real question, do we ever put it to the test? Well, today we are. Let's take a look. So as I said in the intro, today we're going to be strength testing a product, namely the Gemini Tidy Booms. Now I've been using the Tidy Booms for many years in my angling, so I already know that they are strong and reliable, but I've never seen the numbers for myself. Now for those of you that don't know what a Gemini Tidy Boom is, here is a rapid breakdown. The Gemini Tidy Booms enable you to construct your favourite rig in record time. They come in a couple of different sizes. You've got the 5.5 inch, the 7 inch and the 9 inch, plus loads of different styles available. So if you like to fish a Ronnie rig, a hinge stiff rig, or you just like a nice simple D rig, the guys at Gemini have got you covered. Gemini Tidy Booms are 100% fluorocarbon with a light refractive index of 1.42, meaning these things simply disappear when you put them in water. They are of course made right here in the UK on home soil so that quality control can be ensured at every step of the process. On either end of the fluorocarbon boom section we have small loops that are created with something called fuse bond technology. Now, this is a process that Gemini use to ensure not only a neater but also a stronger way to create that loop over a conventional knot, and that is what we are here to put to the test. Now this rather industrial looking device next to me is what Gemini use in-house to check the quality of their products to make sure that you're getting exactly what you need for your angling. And as you can see from its rather rugged build and, let me tell you, extreme weight, this thing certainly means business. At the top we have a set of digital scales which will obviously measure pressure exerted on the material. On the bottom we have the trigger. Now that trigger is what enables me to basically stretch that material against the pressure of the scales until it finally parts. All of the material I have with me today is of a 30-pound breaking strain. I've got a couple of packets of the Gemini Tidy Booms for Ronnies in 7 inch. As I say, they are 30-pound in breaking strain, and I've got a couple of lengths of the exact same fluorocarbon that I'm going to tie a loop in either end using figure of 8 knots at roughly 7 inches. I'll try and keep it as accurate as I possibly can to make sure the whole thing is fair. So is the old-fashioned conventional knot as strong as that new technology that Gemini are using? Let's find out. Let's get this set up and start doing some testing. So the device is now set up and stable, and it is simply a case of hooking the booms, homemade or Gemini, onto the small hooks and basically putting the pressure on and seeing when these things really do give way. So let's get the scales turned on and let them zero. There we go. It's already in pounds, and then all we need to do is push and hold the hold button, and that way it will keep the reading on the screen. Okay, first up we're going to do the homemade booms that I've tied myself with a figure of 8 loop knot. As I said, 30-pound breaking strain material, and then I'm just going to slowly apply pressure with this. It's taking the strain out of it. 12 pounds, 15, 21, 22, 20, 26. Okay, 26 pound. That's quite surprising, seeing as it is a 30-pound material, and I didn't think just putting a knot in it would make that much difference. So let's get rid of these. Those in my pocket, and we'll do the next one. What I'll probably do is at the end of these, I'll get an average total for the 3 booms, and I'll do the same with the Gemini Tidy Boom, so we get like a nice round number, a definitive figure if you like. So again, let's zero that, press the hold button, and go again. So this is the homemade boom number 2. Slowly adding pressure, 13, 15, 20, 21, 24 pounds exactly. Wow, okay. That's quite surprising, and they are breaking at the knot as well, so it's a clear weak point. The third and final homemade boom. Let's zero that. Start adding the pressure, taking the slack out. Okay, 5, 10, 15, 20, 26.6 pound. So they all seem to be around that sort of 25 pound mark, which is quite worrying for a 30 pound material. I think the thing to do now is let's test out some of the Gemini Tidy Booms and see if that fused bond technology really does give you that added strength and reliability that we all crave. Because right now, I've basically just realised that every boom that I've ever tied was probably substantially weaker than I originally thought it was going to be. Okay, and now we move on to the Gemini Tidy Booms. As I said earlier, 30 pound breaking strain, exactly the same material, and these are the Tidy Booms for Ronnie rigs in a 7-inch size. So once again, hook it on to the top one, and then the same again on the bottom one. Zero it and push the hold button, and then let's start applying the pressure. This is going to be pretty interesting. Okay, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 33.12. That is a significant difference to tying a knot. I'm very shocked at that. Okay, let's try a couple more of these and see exactly what is going on. So moving on to the second of the Gemini Tidy Booms. Let's see what we get here. That's zeroed, push the hold button. Let's start doing some pressure. Okay, so we've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 33.6. So once again, absolutely obliterating the ratings we got by tying the knot. It is really nice to know that these are breaking well above that rated 30 pound breaking strain. It just goes to show that the guys at Gemini really can offer you that strength and reliability that you need. Anyway, let's get the last one tested. I'm pretty sure that my mind is already made up. I mean, realistically, I've been using these for quite some time now, so I was already sold on the product, but to see it with your own eyes is certainly impressive. Like I say, let's get this last one tested and then we'll come up with a bit of a verdict. Once again, hook the Tidy Boom onto that top hook and the same again onto the lower hook. Okay, let's zero the scales, push the hold button, let's start applying some pressure. Here we go. Okay, 5, 10, 20, 30, 32.92. Well, that is 3 out of 3. It is quite clear that the Gemini Tidy Booms are significantly stronger, not only than that stated 30 pound breaking strain, but also stronger than a conventional knot. Obviously tied out of that same material, the fused loop technology really does achieve you that extra strength that you need in your angling. If you're fishing a hit and hold situation, that extra sort of 5 to 7 pounds worth of strength is a massive amount and can make all of the difference. As I said, these are available in loads of different varieties, so there will be a Tidy Boom to suit your angling, your type of rigs that you like to use. Pop onto the Gemini website and take a look. There's loads on there, not just these, loads of other really cool products as well, so take a look at those too. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course make sure you hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on any future uploads. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks very much.